back in the day. He was and then he lost his mind. And now you can't even bear to like look at the guy without getting some sort of like reaction deep down inside. So I actually think it was a political move. I think they saw the country was going more woke. So they went more woke with their direction because it's all about selling ads. I really don't think that even at the top of the top companies that they're trying to alienate viewers. I think they just saw a majority of people would dig this. And then now do you think they're starting to pull back from that woke kind of perception they have?
No.
No. Okay.
Stephen A is as much a race baiter as anybody on the network, and they're running him for president. What you have to understand the importance of sports in terms of moving the culture the direction you want it to go. And so keep in mind, Jackie Robinson integrated Major League Baseball in 1947. He sparked the civil rights movement in the 50s and 60s. And so it was the integration in baseball that sparked the end of segregation in America. Sports is how you move the American culture, and the left figured it out. And that's why they've overtaken and moved American values out of sports and turned the sports leagues far more secular. And so I just, what ESPN is doing is intentional, and it's all connected. It's all connected to the theme I've been talking about here in terms of, hey man, they really want racial conflict. They really want to drum up tension between black and white. They're using ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, that's backed by Disney, one of the worldwide leaders in global culture. And they are set that all sports has to be examined in a black, white. Why do you think every year Jalen Hurts won quarterback the Eagles and won a Super Bowl? And ESPN immediately tweets out, he's the 5th black quarterback to win a Super Bowl, or 4th, or whatever he was. And I was like, what's the number when they stop?
Right.
Is it 10?
Yeah.
Once we get to 10 black quarterbacks, we won't talk about the 11th. And again, they're using ESPN to program everyone's mind that every time a black person does something that a white person has already done 100 times, it's history making. It's significant. And they know that's fingernails on a chalkboard to most sports fans, and particularly to white sports fans, because most of us in our right minds, we go to sports to get away from the racial conflict. That's what sports under Christian values always represented. That just how we're one in Christ. We're one in sports. We all have this goal of success in our team, and it doesn't matter if the guy that I'm playing next to is a white guy from Oklahoma and I'm from New York or Chicago and blah, blah, blah. It's like we have one goal and we put it all aside to achieve greatness. That's the messaging that was consistent with what we were trying to do in America. They've totally changed that and have elevated everyone's expectations that every time something happens, we must evaluate it through the black-white racial conflict. They've done it with sports. They've normalized it, and now you see it everywhere.
Yeah, sports should be the ultimate meritocracy. If you're good enough, you make it. If you're not good enough, you don't. There's no DEI in sports, or there shouldn't be. It should just be, can you ball? Can you help your team win? Can you bring a championship to your city? There's so many things that but for me, I remember when they put all the end racism in the end zone, like conservatives were like, boycott sports. My son plays football. I can't boycott football. I want to watch football. So I'm almost forced to watch, to go through the BS just to partake in a pastime that I feel is great for kids to participate in. So it's a shame how they've kind of ran that down our throat. And did they end racism by putting that in the end zone?
I heard that there was an announcement in 23, I believe, in February 7th, 23, I think is when they announced that the NFL had ended racism.
God bless them.
check. We can run that through Google or Grok, but I think it ended then. So
can you imagine like a racist guy watching? He's like, you know what? I should end racism. I'm sold. I'm sold. I'm ending this right now. I'm not racist. Oh my goodness. End racism. The NFL, man. I mean, that was a Kaepernick kind of steamroll, like spiral. And Kaepernick's a fascinating story because here's a guy who lost his job to Gabbert. I mean, he was phenomenal that year. He took him to the Super Bowl. Like, I mean, I was a fan. I'm like, this guy's amazing. And then he just, defenses catch up. And one thing you'll learn in any sport, the hardest thing is to be great all the time. Like, that's why I give Mahomes credit. Because if you play sports, if you played at your level, my level, and which isn't as good as your level, I'm a Division III guy, right? If you play at that level, you realize that for example, when they first came out with the West Coast offense, the double wing, especially in high school, unstoppable. You can run the double wing all day long with a subpar offense and score 40 a game. Not anymore, because there's enough film to be able to key the guard, all that good stuff. So it's fascinating to see that he became the guy. Oh, I'm out of the league because of racism, bro. Before this all happened, like Gabbert took your job. It's not like you lost your job to Brady, like Bledsoe did. You lost your job to Gabbert, a career backup. Like, come on. But it's easy to cry racism, and he came from a white family. Like, the whole story is fascinating. Here's a guy who was raised as an upper class white child, and then all of a sudden he grows out an afro, and now he's fighting against apartheid. It was so weird to watch that whole thing unravel.
Go check out his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Thick, big booty Marxist. And men have been so emasculated that we think we should follow women rather than lead women. Yeah. That's what inclusion is. That's what progress is. And so he entered into a relationship with a Egyptian woman, light-skinned, attractive, thick, big booty. And she's led him around by his nose. She's a Marxist. And literally took a guy that had one of the greatest blessings that this planet and God can offer you.
Yeah.
Your real parents, the dad you never met, and the mom that chose to give you up. And some family steps up and says, no, we'll take him and we'll love him, and we'll treat him as our own. And it's a white family. And they give him a family and they nurture him and blah, blah, blah. And then he takes pot shots at them. Says that they treated him in a racist fashion, and when he wanted to get cornrows, and they didn't want him to date a certain girl because she wasn't this or wasn't that. They were parents. That's what parents do. Complain about who you're dating, complain about your hairstyle. But my father hated the way that I dressed and all of that. That's what hated that, just keeping it real. I'm transparent. Hated that I was attracted to white girls and the white girls would call our house. That's what parents do. And it's not because they hate you. It's not because they want the best for you in their mind. He took a dump on these people that sacrificed and did things for him. And he got caught up in the identity politics and just wanted to have his black moment. And so he, that woman that he's sleeping with and following, when he loses his job as quarterback, she's, that's because they're racist, Colin. And I can't blame it all on her. He's simple-minded, and he's, obviously doesn't have a biblical worldview. But he just kind of fell into that trap. And the whole system that they've designed begs and baits black people to play the race card. It makes you look, oh, you're the next Muhammad Ali. And I'm like, Colin Kaepernick, you ain't Muhammad Ali.
No.
You're not. Muhammad Ali didn't want to go to Vietnam and risk his life. And he had a set of religious beliefs and religious leaders that he was following. Colin, you're just following behind. You're p-whipped